Dr. Walker?
At some point, I got the men and women's basketball schedule that I passed out. But at some point, I want to explain what's on it. That'll take 1 minute.
What do you mean? Okay, but what do you mean what's on it? What do you mean by what's on it? Okay, Rattlers, if I may have your attention. Thank you, I just want to see it.
I won't explain that. It'll take me 1 minute.
Okay. If I may have your attention, people. You guys know my rule. I don't like to start late. I never start late. If I do, it's always someone else's fault. Right, Shirley? Right, okay. It's your fault, Wilbur. Okay, I know some of you have questions about the SWAC championship game. There's a meeting scheduled for this afternoon. And after that meeting, I think our athletic director will have answers to all your questions. But remember, this is not Florida A&M University's game, although it's played in Bragg Stadium. It's the SWAC's game. They are handling everything. So, and our AD is in a meeting now, later this afternoon, and I think we'll know after that meeting what we need to know regarding tickets and what they cost and all of that good stuff. I spent 3 years in Uncle Sam's Army, and I know the importance of a master sergeant, although I was a specialist foe colonel. Yeah. I haven't. I'm getting there, Wilbur. See, I'm getting. Yeah, take care, Leroy. Will you take care? Yeah. But I stayed my whole 3 years. Oh, okay. We good. I mentioned that because a command sergeant major is a very powerful person. I think he reports only to the general. But I believe there's another person that our command sergeant major Gene McKinney reports to. Command Sergeant Major, do you have someone with you today? I do. And who might she be?
She's not Mike. She is my wife.
Uh-huh.
I've been married to this young lady for 51 years, past August.
All right. Yeah. Okay, may I have your attention, people, please? She's a graduate of Florida A&M what class?
1973.
Okay, you were too late to be in FAMU's greatest class. Class of 1966. It's already been voted on. We don't need to discuss it. Am I right, Colonel Joe?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I want to welcome you. I want you to know your husband has done some tremendous things for Florida A&M University. And the best part about it, he's spending his own money, or maybe some of your money too. I'm sorry. Well, he's worked some wonders, not only for our nutrition program. And I hope everybody could get a chance to go over to the field house and see what Sergeant McKinney has done for the players. He put a new sink in the nutrition area. He got shell. You need to stop by and see it. Oh, we'll show it next week. Yeah. Oh, I understand you. I didn't approve that. Oh, okay. All right. But thank you, Mrs. McKinney, for coming. I want you to know how much we appreciate the man who reports to you. Yeah, okay. All right. I want to tell a little story. I may have told this before. I don't like to repeat stories. I very seldom do it. How many people were at the game in Tampa when Dr. Humphreys announced that we were moving the Florida Classic to Orlando? How many people were there? You were there, Wilbur? Well, some people in Tampa didn't like that. They wanted the game to stay in Tampa, especially one very influential person. And he grabbed Dr. Humphreys after the luncheon and said, you know, I'm getting a little tired of your effort to push this game to Orlando. And of course, Dr. Humphreys, being Dr. Humphreys, pulled his arm away from him and stuck that old finger in his face and said, you don't tell me what to do, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we were a little concerned because this was a very influential person in Tampa. But on the way out, he turned to me and said, Eddie, you got my back? I said, I got it, Mr. President. A few weeks later, we flew into Atlanta, and the plane was late, and we were rushing to catch the plane to Tallahassee. It was night, and when we got, the door was closing when we got to the ticket counter, and the lady said, I'm sorry, Dr. Humphreys, but nobody can get on that plane once that door closed. But Dr. Humphreys was very adamant. He said, listen, I got some things to do. I got to get on that plane. And she said, well, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. So he turned to me and said, Eddie, you got my back on this? I said, you're on your own now, Mr. President. we had to wait on another flight. Before I bring 7 up, Dr. Leela Walker wants 60 seconds. And we're going to start counting as soon as she gets started. Dr. Walker.
Last week, many of you heard the presentation from our women's basketball coach and my homegirl, Bridget Gordon. And all of you were concerned about the schedule. So I have the schedule for you. It's printed on both sides. And I did not write what is in the upper right-hand corner. And because we are, the world is listening, you please correct this grammatically, because this is what's written on the schedule that's coming out of the ticket office and what is coming out of the athletic department's office. So mark it out and correct it grammatically.
That was 65 seconds, Leela. We're going to get started today with our illustrious president of the FAMU Boosters. That's Mr. Selvin Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Before we get started, Mr. Jackson kind of alluded a little bit to some activities that's going to take place after we leave here. We're going to be going over, and we're going to have an opportunity to, you would have an opportunity to view the new nutrition station that was so kindly donated to our football team by Command Sergeant Major McKinley and Wilhelmina. So please join with us as we leave here today, and so you can go by and see what an outstanding job that they did. And I'm sure if you get a chance to talk to the players or get a chance to talk to our strength and conditioning coach, Cole Forney, they will be more, I mean, they are just gushing all over themselves as what has been done and how much they really appreciate it. Before I get started with the announcements, I just got an evil eye, that we're going to present one new life member. And I've been around Eddie for a while, and I'm getting bad with names. And my illustrious membership chair, she sent me this text and she saw that my phone was dead on me, and I didn't have the name, so she bought me the plaque, so I do have the name. So, Mr. LaShawn Jackson Fryson, will you come forward? Yeah, that's right. LaShawn, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Rattler Boosters, I'd like to present to you your new life membership plaque. Congratulations. Give her. Oh, okay. And LaShawn's father is Coach Jackson, the longtime coach out at Greensboro High School and later on West Gaston High School. Right? That's the Jackson? The wrong Jackson?
That's my uncle.
Oh, that's your uncle.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's her uncle. And also her other uncle.
No, my dad.
You heard, oh, I'm sorry. So you're a boss man daughter.
Yeah.
Oh! I got it right now. Okay. I'm gonna put the mic down and we're gonna take this picture. Okay, thank you. Okay. Sorry for the rambling, folk, but we got it right. We had a very exciting week of activities of our sports teams. Last week I told you about the golf team playing at the TPC of Sugarloaf in Duluth, and we came in second. We were one stroke away from winning. Two strokes away from winning and one stroke away from the first place. University of Arkansas Pine Bluff was the winner. They came in at 594 and we came in at 595. So, but Coach Rice had told me about the injuries that he had. So we finished out the fall and we're looking forward to the spring. And I'm sure that we will be in contention for the trophy come spring. Our bowling team participated in the Sunshine State Classic in Orlando. We had a match with Youngstown State. We had 963 pins, and Youngstown State had 1,106 pins. So we came up short on that one. Our next up is going to be on 11/10. We're going to be playing in the Sonic Boom Invitational. And the Sonic Boom, I guess you would know that that's in Jackson, Mississippi. So that's going to be on the 10th of this month. And we're going to be an invitation bowling match with Jackson State. Our women basketball, don't know how many of you had an opportunity to watch the game last night, but we were in Thompson Bowling Arena. And I can say that I am very proud with what I saw. And we came up short, 64-93, but it was a great effort by our young ladies. So I'm sure that you, like me, are looking forward to this upcoming basketball season. Our next game is going to be at Middle Tennessee in Murfreesboro. We're going to play them on the 9th of today is the 8th? So tomorrow night we're going to be playing at Middle Tennessee in Murfreesboro. And on 11/13, we will be playing the University of Florida in Gainesville. Our men basketball team played last night too. We came up a little short. We played Creighton University. We had 54. Creighton had 101. Our next game is the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, Nebraska. And then after that, on the 14th, we will be playing the University of Florida in Gainesville. Our volleyball team had a great week. On the 4th, we went to Ida Bena, played Mississippi Valley. We won 3-0. We came back on the next night, which was Sunday, and we played Jackson State. We won 3-0. So, hey, we took care of Mississippi. Okay, volleyball team is doing quite well. On the 10th, we will have, some people say the team from down south, but, I kind of, Miss Mary McLeod Bethune was an important lady, so I like to say, I'll call the name. We're going to play Bethune-Cookman on 11/10. That's going to be at the Lawson Center, so at 6 o'clock. So we want you to come out and cheer the volleyball team on. And after that, I believe Bethune is the last game, and after that, we will have the SWAC volleyball tournament, which is going to be the same weekend, of course, as the Florida Classic. And I think that's it for all the highlights. The roundup that we normally have before our home games, we aren't going to have the roundup this week because we got a bonus game, and the bonus game is on December 2nd. So we're going to have the roundup on December 1st. I'll be making an announcement in the upcoming weeks about the roundup. So if you haven't been to the NAA Rattler Booster Roundup, you're missing a treat. A lot of door prizes, cash money. Matter of fact, I'm looking at one gentleman here who walked away with the jackpot. And so it's all cash, no IRS deductions coming from it, okay? Hors d'oeuvres, music, just a great time. One other announcement, and that's Tommy, I need to know how you're on the second bus. You still got space? We got about 20 seats left on the bus, 13 seats left. No, take that back. No, we got 10 because I got another order for 3. So you got 10. We got 10 seats left, and that's the bus that will carry you from the host hotel to Camping World Stadium and back. You'll be first in line for the victory party after the game at the hotel. Okay? Bus leaves at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock Saturday before the game. Colonel Joe, would you get my attention to say something?
I was going to, we were making the sergeant, he was the sergeant major of the Army that we're going to go over and do the nutrition station with. Sergeant major of the Army.
So Ed and I were wrong. We've been saying command sergeant major, but it's sergeant major of the Army. Sergeant major, please forgive me. Wilhelmina, please forgive me. Okay. I was. Well, that's what I took my cue from Mr. Jackson. Okay, everybody. Thanks again. Thanks. Our website, FAMURattlerBoosters.com. Visit it. If you care to, please make a donation. All monies are tax deductible, and all monies go directly to our student athletes. I'd like for you to know that everybody in the Rattler Booster organization are volunteers. We don't get paid a dime. Or well, take that back. We don't get paid not even 1 red cent for what we do. So thanks, everybody. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Seven. Seven, you need to get your act together. You know, every week, Leroy gives me a joke. I haven't used one yet. I didn't quite get the hang of it, but I got to use this one. I think some of you older guys can identify with this. Okay, it says an old guy not in the best of shape was working out in the gym when he spotted a sweet, lovely young thing. He asked the trainer, who was nearby, say, what machine in here should I use to impress that sweet young lady over there? The trainer looked him up and down and said, if I was you, I would try the ATM in the lobby. All right, Leroy. After 3 weeks, Leroy, you hit a home run. Okay, I was trying to think of the last time that the Rattler football team was listed in the top 10 football teams in the country. And we were at number 9 in the country. I don't know if some of these things resonate with some of you people. Y'all so busy thinking about that interception that Musa threw 3 weeks ago or something. They were in the top 10 teams in the nation. I tell you, the nutrition program, the coolant recovery center, and my second half advice has gone a long way in giving us a championship team. So it's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce the head coach of the FAMU football Rattlers, Coach Willie Simmons.
People might get sensitive about that sign, that noise now. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate those sentiments. And Mr. Cobb, as much as I honor and love and respect Mother Mary McLeod Bethune, we say her name. We just don't say that name and the other name together. So if you want to speak of Mary McLeod Bethune, feel free. More than welcome. Again, it's always an honor to be here, and very, very excited to be, where we are. Obviously, we worked extremely hard, and we started this journey, way back in January, putting this team together and trying to, bring you all a championship football team. And like Eddie said, I mean, it's the nutrition, it's the academic support. It's really everything that has led to us being the 9th-rated team in the country and undefeated in conference play. And so, again, give you guys a round of applause for all the hard work and sacrifices that you all make. I tell the team all the time, we have our 7 F's, and Tuesday for us is about fasting, and we talk about what that means. It's a sacrifice. You're giving up something that's essential to you, in that sense, food, for what you think is something greater. And so it takes extreme sacrifice to be if you're great at anything or want to be great at anything, there are major sacrifices that have to be made, and these guys are making those sacrifices. They're sacrificing a lot of free time. They're sacrificing a lot of, off the field things that they could be doing, time with their families, their significant others. Again, it's a full-time commitment, so I'm thankful for our wives and as coaches and even some of the players. Just understanding the commitment that it takes to be a top-notch football team. This is it's in the 9-to-5 job. Football is not something you can get up at 8:30 and get to work at 9 and then be walking out the building at 4:59. Our phones never turn off. I have a do not disturb automatic setting on my phone like many people do that turns on about 10 o'clock. But LaTroy Johnson's number is going to come through. The VP AD Sykes' number is going to come through. Chief Cotton, MUPD's number is going to come through. So, because again, Eddie Jackson's number is going to come through, even though I know he's asleep. And Eddie calls you at night. He'll call you early in the morning. And so again, and many of you, believe it or not, your number's on all speed dial as well. So, again, it's just it's a testament to the family of what it takes to make all this work. Obviously I get a lot of the credit, much of it that I don't deserve. I also get a lot of blame, much of it. No, I do deserve all the blame. But again, I don't do this alone. I have an amazing coaching staff. a great support staff, amazing support staff, and a phenomenal group of young men who aren't perfect. They're far from perfect, but they commit themselves to doing the little things right time and time again. And so I actually, it's funny, and I shared this with the team last night. I actually text Coach Gordon, after their game and said, Coach, I've spent some time with Coach and got to know her over the last few months, and we're very similar, both small-town country kids. Both were pretty good athletes in our day. Obviously, she went a lot further in her career than I did, but just being around her, watching her practice, how she talks to the girls is very similar to kind of how I run the football team. And I said, I know you don't believe in moral victories, so I'm not going to give you a great job tonight. No coach wants to hear that after they lost. I said, but there are a lot of encouraging things that you can take away from this game, last night. And she thanked me for that and said, Coach, it's little things and it's details. And I said, well, Coach, believe it or not, for us, we're number 9 in the country. We're the second highest winning percentage team in the nation. There's only one team in FCS that's undefeated. And so our winning percentage is second nationally. And I said, for us, it's little things and details. And so the same blueprint, I told the team that. I said, when we took over in 2018, I took over a program that had been struggling, and our number one thing was little things, details, fundamentals. If we get great at those, as coaches, we'll do the rest. We'll go recruit. We'll bring in talented young men and women. But if we can just stress the details, we will be the type of team that we're going to be, and it's led us to this point. So I just try to encourage her on that, and I do see a new dawn in women's basketball, just like volleyball, just like tennis, all the sports that we're taking off. So, again, just wanted to give Coach a huge shout-out for – and I know that's tough, going to play your alma mater. I did that some years back and went and played against Clemson, and it's not easy to go back to the place who kind of helped mold you and shape you to who you are and go back and take your team there to play them. So there are a lot of emotions that go behind, playing where you with coaching where you played. So, but again, just excited about the athletic department as a whole and where we're headed. Just some great things on the horizon, and obviously football is trying to do our part to keep the positive momentum going. Cross country started it off a few weeks ago, and volleyball's back to playing really, really good, and obviously we got some huge games coming up down the pike, and so we're excited. Obviously this weekend is Senior Day, so we're gonna honor over 30 young men on Saturday. There are over 30 guys that will play their last regular season home game here on Ken Riley Field at Bragg Stadium. And of those 30 plus, only 4 of them know what it's like to lose on Ken Riley Field. In that case, Bragg Memorial Stadium, but only 4 of those guys. And those are the 4 who came in with us in 2018. That's David Manigo, wide receiver Cameron Colvin, offensive lineman, that's wide receiver Nick Dixon, and that's defensive back Eric Smith. Those are the 4 kind of holdovers from that first year. Everybody else on this football team has never lost a game at Bragg. And so we're going to send those guys out this last time, and, with great experience for them. Those 4 have a greater appreciation, I believe, because they remember what that field house looked like the first time we walked in there in 2018. They remember falling through the lockers because the benches were old and coming apart. They remember the carpet floor and the smell that resonated in the locker room, because you have a carpet floor that absorbs all that moisture and stuff after practice. And so, it was really, really difficult to host team meetings in the locker room just because of the sheer smell of the place. But just where we've come, 6 years later, we're hosting not only the SWAC championship, but the Florida High School Athletic Association State Championship Series right there in our stadium. So it's amazing. It really is amazing to see where we have come. They don't remember. Again, the 4 guys that we talked about it last week at the hotel. And we laugh at it now, but literally, 6 years ago, Eddie Jackson, Roy Moore, Selvin Cobb were bringing bags of ice to the practice facility every day in August because we didn't have working ice machines. The ice machines broke. And so during August in Tallahassee, Florida, we didn't have an ice machine. And now we got a big cooling station that sits out there all of August. It truly is amazing. And again, so I'm so indebted to them because, I mean, they I called them and they saw the need, but I grabbed a Gatorade bottle one day, and I rarely drink water at practice, but it was just one of those days it was just sweltering hot out there, and I squirted water in my mouth, and I think I burnt my tonsils because the bottles didn't have ice in it. We had a choice to make. You can put ice in the bottles for practice, or you can put ice in the cold tubs after practice to preserve our legs. We chose after practice, and so we had hot water during practice. So now we're the number 9 team in the country, so God is good, isn't he? And so again, just to touch quickly on last weekend, I mean, it was a great experience to look behind us and see just a sea of orange and green, representing these guys and supporting us as we went up to Huntsville. It was their senior day, and so obviously no team, just like homecoming, no team wants to lose their senior day. So last time those guys were playing in the stadium, and we went in and jumped out on them quickly, scored on the opening drive, came back and blocked. I mean, we didn't even block the punt. We tackled the punter with the ball the next series and was able to get a field goal. The very next series, blocked the punt. The Lovey Jenkins returned for a touchdown. And I think with about 8 minutes left in the first quarter, it's 17-0. And so, you know this team, we don't like to just blow people out. And, all these people traveled all the way to Huntsville to see us play. The March 100 hadn't even gotten there yet. So we was like, look, it's just too much. We need to slow down and keep the fans engaged until the 100 gets in. Let's make it a game. So a couple minutes later, we were down 21-17. So then the 100 showed up, and we decided to go and start playing football. So we ended up going up 21 in the third quarter, and we held on for a 14-point victory. But it was a big win, great win. We had already clinched the East the week before. But we were able to clinch home field advantage as the best record in the conference. So, of course, now we're guaranteed to host the SWAC championship game on December 2nd. So, again, very excited about that. And, a lot of momentum, getting ready for a great run, So, we got back sometime a little bit after midnight. Of course, the time changed, so got back about 1:30 a.m. And, of course, just like the last 2 road trips, Mr. Ansel was right there waiting on us with his air horn, chanting away. And so, again, you can't get over, can't get under. So, again, we appreciate Mr. Ansel for just his commitment. And, again, it means a lot. Guess he don't sleep, so told to come. He probably don't sleep, but we get back pretty late. But again, that this weekend got a team coming in, Lincoln University, newer team. They played a few SWAC teams this season. They actually have traveled every week this season. They don't have a home field. And so every game they played has been on the road. So they've flown to Texas, they've flown to Louisiana, they've flown to Georgia, all across the place to play games. And they'll make their final stop right here in the great state of Florida, coming in. So, like I told the team on Sunday, it's always a challenge to motivate a group of guys that have accomplished as much as we have, and now we're going to play a team, 1, that's smaller, 2, that's winless, right? And so, winless. They haven't won a game all season. And so, for us, the challenge isn't Lincoln University. The challenge is us to do the things that we need to do to prepare ourselves for this next month of football. Because, again, we got to be peaking at the right time. And so we're playing really good ball. We played probably our 2 most complete games the last 2 weeks. You want to continue that as you go into the Classic next week, a championship game 2 weeks after that, and then hopefully a national championship game 2 weeks after that. And so it's about our mental preparation. It's about our attention to detail, our focus, our selflessness, and our decision-making. You know, that's one of the biggest things, because right now with all the positive things that we have going on within the program, the last thing we need is something external to cause a negative image of our team. And so really stressing the guys about decision making. We have a meeting tomorrow, team meeting tomorrow with some university officials to just talk about that decision making on the field, off the field, in the classroom, conduct, image, all those things. Just because again, that's the only thing at this point that can slow this train down. So really stressing those things. We do have some guys this week that will rest to get them healthier, for this last 3-game stretch after this weekend. And so there's a very good chance that Moose won't play. Good chance that a couple other guys won't play. And if we need him, he'll be available. But just for the sake of making decisions that affect us long term, it's probably best that we hold him this week. So we'll more likely do that. So that'll mean Junior Murtovic will be ready to go. Ja'Cory Jordan will be ready to go. DJ Boney will be the next guy up. And so with those guys, at practice this week with the thought that they got to be ready to play. And we tell them, if you're in, you're a starter. So we don't talk about second team, third team, whatever. If you're on the football field, you are a starter. And so prepare yourself that way. And when you get on the field, the expectation is that you play that way. You want to see this team mad? Let our defense have a shutout going, and the reserves get in and give up a touchdown. It's going to be hell to pay. Like we just don't play that offensively. Let us be moving the ball up and down the field, and then let the reserve O-line get in, and we can't move the ball like that. Like we have that much pride in how we play football that the guys know that when I go in, I better be ready to perform like a starter. And I think that's what makes this team unique. The expectation across the board is that everyone does it, not just the guys that are playing every snap, but across the board, everyone carries that standard and lives it out. So that's where we are. Again, come out and support these guys. I know this game is somewhere sandwiched between homecoming a few weeks ago, the classic next week, a championship game 2 weeks from now, Atlanta. We need you to be at the game Saturday. Let's send these seniors out the right way. Let's show them the appreciation that we have for them. And let's root these guys on to finish this class, again, with a perfect slate right here at Bragg Memorial Stadium on Ken O'Reilly Field, because they've done something that hadn't been done around in a long time. Right now we still have the nation's second longest home win streak at 18. I would love to end this season on 20. And we got 2 more opportunities to play here on Ken O'Reilly Field at Bragg Memorial Stadium this season. And so that would be a great accomplishment for this group. And we're looking forward to it. So, as always, we'll open it up for questions, talk about last week or coming weeks. Tommy, we're not going to talk about anything beyond Saturday. So, if there's specific championship questions, tickets, all those type things, I don't have much information about when, because, again, understand that the SWAC championship is a SWAC event. It's not a FAMU event. This is a SWAC event that's being played on FAMU's campus. And so the conference controls when tickets are released. They control the allotment of tickets that go out. So a lot of those, the answers to a lot of those questions will come out from our administration when they have it. Right now they don't. So I don't have any answers about the championship game other than where it's going to be. I know it's going to be played in Tallahassee. I can tell you that much. Kickoff's at 2 p.m. It's at 2. That's about all I can tell you. I think it's 2 or 4, maybe 4. I think 4 p.m. I'm sorry, for December 2nd, 4 p.m., Bragg Memorial Stadium. That's where the game will be played. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot of information that I have. Don't even know who we're playing yet. There's still some things that have to happen on the West. The West hadn't been decided yet. So we clinched a few weeks ago. The West, there's still some football that has to be played. Right now, Alcorn is they have Alcorn controls their own destiny. If they win out, they're in. They have Texas Southern this Sunday, and then they have Jackson State next week. So if they win out, they're in. If they lose one and Prairie View wins out, then Prairie View's in. They will win the head-to-head tiebreaker in that regard. So those 2 teams have the best chance. Southern has an outside chance based on how things shake out, and I think Grambling the sky would have to fall for Grambling to get in with everybody losing. But mathematically, there's still a way for them to get in. It's just not very likely. So the most likely opponent at this point would be Alcorn State. Prairie View has an outside chance of getting in. So right now, it probably would be one of those two teams if I had to guess. So anybody's watching, if you're not a FAMU fan, probably gonna wear purple and gold that week because both those teams are purple and gold. I know because I was at both of them. But yeah, so that's the most information that I have about the SWAC championship. Obviously, got the Classic coming up next week, and we'll talk about that next week for all you that aren't going to Orlando early. We know Dr. Walker may be in Orlando already partying, getting her festivities started. The rest of you guys, we'll talk about Florida Classic on next Saturday, next Wednesday. So, what's Mr. Ansler?
I'd just like to give a shout out also to Jenny Burry. Now, I wasn't there by myself on Saturday night. Jenny Burry was there. She's a member of the 220 Club, the Rattler Boosters. As a matter of fact, she's an officer, if I'm not correct, right, Mr.
Yes, correct.
A Booster Board member. So I'd like to just give a shout out to her. And secondly, I'd like to say, Coach, I'm just real proud of you, man. And I'm real proud.
Thank you.
I'm proud of the Rattler football team. I am proud of the cheerleaders. I'm proud of this booster organization. We've achieved something that we haven't seen in a long time. And I'd like for us to continue to do it, but I think we ought to give you kudos while we can.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ansler. I appreciate that. And yes, definitely, Miss Burr was there with her cell phone taking her pictures. I think Miss Burr probably has a record for most selfies. She got more pictures of me than my wife do. And so.
Also, Jenny Burry has FAMU boosters, whether they're from the boosters or the Alumni Association or the National Rattler F Club, made up of 20 people on email. So there were many of us that time of night too, emailing congratulations to you.
You were up at 1:30 this.
Oh, everybody know I'm a night person.
Oh, Dr. Walker, okay. Yeah, y'all heard that. Notice time had gone back too, so she was up at 2:30 and set the clock back to 1:30. I heard that, Dr. Walker. Ms. Wolf, my running back. I love it. Will I be able to dictate which sideline I take for the championship game? Well, we're the home team, so yeah, we get to choose the sideline. Yeah, so we'll be on the west side like always. Yes, sir.
Coach, number 54 that got injured, he got a phone call from coming out right back. How are you seeing?
Yes, so John Graves suffered a pec injury in the game Saturday, and so he obviously got looked at, saw Dr. Rowe yesterday, and so again, it's a pec strain, same injury as Jalen Goss, and so he's more likely out this week, and we'll evaluate him more as we move forward. But at this point, it's a pec strain, and nothing more severe than that. So, but yeah, we'll continue to monitor him, and he'll get treatment like he's been doing, like all the guys, and we're cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to hopefully get him back by next week.
Coach, you got one from the web.
On the website.
In post-game and articles, you mentioned since the SWAC title game is a conference event, we can't have official visits by recruits. Can they attend the game at their own cost?
So yes, so the NCAA rule says that you can only host recruits to a university-sponsored event. So because this is not, we don't have a comp list for prospective student athletes. But obviously, if they want to buy their own ticket to the game, they're more than welcome to buy tickets to the game. It doesn't say they can't be there. It just says we can't comp their tickets like we would this weekend or previous weekend. So yes, I do anticipate a lot of our local guys, obviously, our FAMU. They either have family who went to FAM or some kind of way that they're fans. So there probably will be some local guys here. Obviously, the state championship series starts this weekend. So a lot of those guys probably will be preparing for games or haven't just played games. The state championship is that following week. So depending on where guys are in their respective seasons, I do anticipate some recruits being here, but we just can't invite 50 guys like we did for homecoming or the 100 we're going to invite this weekend.
Coach, one more question from the web. An update on Anthony Dunn Jr.
So Anthony Dunn had an ankle sprain in the game Saturday, and so Dunn can play if he's able to play. We'll make a decision on whether he plays or not, just based off again the chance to re-injure the ankle, or again we're playing the long game at this point. You know, you never overlook an opponent. Every opponent's important, but you make business decisions and calculated decisions when you play a team like this the week before the Classic, 2 weeks before a championship game, 3 weeks. You got to be smart, right? Jeremy Musa could play Saturday, but at what cost? You know, he re-injures his shoulder. Now he's not 100% for the Classic. Now he's not healthy for the SWAC championship. Same thing with Anthony Dunn. Yes, he's trying to be first-team All-American, All-Conference Player of the Year. He's trying to get sacks and all those things, but those are individual goals. We're on a team mission, and so we have to have some tough conversations with some individuals to do things that are in the long-term best interest of the program and maybe not them individually. I don't think Moose not playing this week will prevent him from being SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. The one game that he doesn't play against a Division II winless team probably won't make the difference. So we're just going to be smart, and so Anthony Dunn's kind of in that boat as well. We'll assess him more, but I wouldn't bank on him. If he does, it won't be very much. A lot of those guys won't play very much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 9 team in the country. Yes, sir. Yeah. So obviously, there's a contractual agreement between the Southwestern Athletic Conference and the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference that the winners of those conferences will play in the Cricket Celebration Bowl on December 16th. That's a contractual obligation between the two leagues. And so much like the Rose Bowl for years had a contract between the Big Ten winner and the Pac-12 winner, you couldn't opt out of that. You were going to play in that game, or you're going to pay a huge penalty to not do so. I don't think FAMU's prepared to pay a huge penalty for being SWAC champs and not going to Atlanta, right? And so we don't have the ability to opt out of the Celebration Bowl. That's the first thing. The second thing is the first round of the playoffs is the day of the SWAC championship game. So theoretically, if we decided we want to go to the playoffs and roll the dice and see if we can win a national championship, that means we don't even play in the SWAC championship game, right? The SWAC does not have an automatic bid to the playoffs, which means we would have to be selected as an at-large team. Extensive talks with my leadership. We put all our eggs in the Celebration Bowl basket, and that's why we didn't try to go and find a FBS opponent this weekend to try to strengthen our schedule. We don't need to strengthen the schedule because the winner of the SWAC goes to the Celebration Bowl. It's not voted on like the playoffs is. At-large bids are voted on by committee members. They consider strength of schedule. They consider win-losses against top 25 teams. They consider all these factors that 2 years ago we were good enough to go to the playoffs. Last year they felt we weren't. And so just knowing FAMU and being around and hearing the conversations, yes, I know there's a huge contingency of Rattlers who say we should go try to win an FCS national championship like we did in '78. And I understand that argument. There's zero financial gain to go into the FCS playoffs. Zero. We didn't make any money in 2021 by going to the playoffs. There's a huge financial gain for A, hosting the SWAC championship, and B, going to the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Okay? Jackson State cleared about $3 million last year by hosting the SWAC championship and going to the Celebration Bowl. Not winning the Celebration Bowl, going. Because there's a 60-40 split for the team that goes. So 60% of the revenue goes to the team that goes, 40% goes to the conference. And so we'll get our 60%. They'll divide the other 40% amongst the other member schools in the conference. And so, yes, I understand both arguments. Trust me, I do. But in the financial situation we're in, money talks. And I think it's in our best interest to continue to build our program and go to the Celebration Bowl. And you do that a few years, and you clear $10 million or so over the course of 3 or 4 years. Now let's have a different conversation. Now let's see if, hey, we have the infrastructure, we have the staffing, because we're still at a competitive disadvantage to a lot of teams in FCS. As the number 9 team in the country, right now, what that means is if the 8 teams ahead of us were in the playoffs, they'd all get first-round byes. We'd play the first round. They'd all host. We'd probably travel. And so when you think about going to the University of North Dakota, South Dakota State, Sacramento State, not even Southeastern. That's not even the same. You thought you saw something in Hammond, Louisiana, wherever that is. Go to Fargo, North Dakota, when the entire state of North Dakota is going to be in the Fargo Dome to watch the playoff game. You know, so there again, there's a much like there's a disparity amongst FBS. That's the challenge for the NCAA and for Division I football is that it's not like the NFL. It's not all equal. FBS football, there are 130 teams in FBS football. There's 65 teams in the autonomy conferences, the 5 power conferences, okay? The disparity in revenue amongst those 65 compared to the other 65 is greater than the disparity between those bottom 65 and us. When you look at the athletic budgets of teams like Texas, and University of Florida, and Notre Dame, and Southern Cal, and those places, it's astronomical. The easiest way to look at it is just look at the coaches' salaries. Look at how much they pay their head coach compared to what a group of 5 team pays their head coach. So look at the salary of Alabama compared to the salary of the head coach at Troy. That disparity is a lot greater than the disparity between the head coach at Troy and the head coach at Alabama State. So it's the same in FCS. The resources at a North Dakota State compared to teams in the SWAC, teams in the MEAC, teams in the Southland, it's a huge disparity, a huge disparity. A lot of those teams could realistically be FBS programs. University of Delaware, again, when you think about the nature, just think about the name of the school. You have the University of Delaware, the University of North Dakota, of Montana. Those are flagship schools in their states. So all the resources in the states go to those programs. They're not battling other bigger schools for resources like we are. And so it's a little bit of a difference. So we're not there yet. I think we can be competitive, but there's a huge difference in resources and coaching staff, sizes, and all those type of things and facilities. So I think 3 or 4 years in the Celebration Bowl, let's build up our budget a little bit to increase some things that we can need. Then yeah, let's go test our hand and let's go see if we can win us another one. But for right now, we're gonna go win us a Black College National Championship. Eddie said the same thing. Yeah, no. You're looking at probably about between 1.3 and 1.5 million for the Celebration Bowl for us. Yes. Yeah. So it's a pretty penny. Yeah. All expenses paid. So we're talking about Eddie Jackson money at that point. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The colors for this weekend are black, and then you also have, because of military appreciation, any camouflage. So yes, I know Dr. Walker is like cringing right now, like absolutely cringing that the colors this weekend are black. So if you got your black FAMU shirts, let's wear them this weekend, or any type of camouflage shirt to honestly honor all of our veterans, our soldiers, and our military personnel. So, but yes, Military Appreciation Weekend, Senior Day, and Community Appreciation Day, all going on this weekend. Yes, boss. Right. So again, because the Florida High School State Championship Series are hosted, they're put on by the state of Florida. It's not like it's a FAMU game, right? During the regular season, if whoever, Miami Northwestern, comes to play FAMU DRS, we have the same type of rules and regulations as if we were attending a normal high school football game. So we can still evaluate the game. We can watch the games. We cannot have contact with prospective student athletes because that's technically not a game for us. It's a game that's played on our campus, but it's not a game for us. So we can't go and pull their star receiver into the locker room and walk them around and all those types. They can do that on their own, but we have limited access to any prospective student athlete that's on our campus for the purposes of a state championship series. For a long time, so stop. No, all rules apply as far as boosters, as far as recruiting. They all apply. All the normal NCAA rules apply. So, short answer, I would not try to do anything that would be questionable. But the NCAA they have a very simple saying: ask before you act. And so, if there's a question that and this is all seriousness, if anyone has any question about what they're allowed to do as a booster, as a supporter of FAMU, as an alum, if you have any questions as about the type of access you can have to any prospective student athlete, simply reach out to us, ask us a question. We will follow up with our compliance office and we'll get back to you. All right? Like I said, we don't want to do anything that obviously is in violation to any NCAA rules and regulations. And as boosters, which many of you are, you have very restrictive rules as far as the access you can have to any prospective student athlete. Unless they're a close family member, you just got to be careful. And that's even for me. Like, there's some local teams, hopefully, that are playing in the state championship. I have relatives of local teams. Some of my coaches have relatives of local teams. We have to be really careful in how we interact because of different rules and regulations. So just, again, if there's any question ever about your involvement with the prospective student athlete, just ask us. We know you want to help. We know you're not trying to do anything, backhanded, but we got to make sure, because just like always, we're under a microscope. And because of the success we're having, we're prime targets for any type of penalties from our governing body. So we just got to be careful. But appreciate you, boss. I know you want to help out. So, yes, sir.
I watched the game on ESPN Plus, and the graphics were. I'm surprised at the graphics. I'm used to seeing the details of what's going on in the game. They didn't have hardly any of that. You know why?
So yeah, we're gonna let Vaughn, the media expert, come and talk about the visibility of the game. But I did hear a lot of negative feedback about the quality of the stream on Saturday. So Vaughn, if you want to take that.
The short answer is it's infrastructure on Alabama A&M's campus. I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, we used to have to do when we were in the MEAC, ESPN came and trained us, and we were fortunate. Our campus, IT, and everybody jumped in to make it work. So we had such large bandwidth. If you look at our broadcasts against anybody else's in the MEAC at the time, they were broadcasting at 720, but when we did our test, they were like, no, go to full 1080 because you have great bandwidth. So we were broadcasting in 1080 HD, where the other teams in the MEAC were doing 720. That was about 400 Saturday. It was really infrastructure. So I want to clarify this because I kept seeing everybody, and not the ESPN needs any defense. But when you go to ESPN Plus, most of those games are produced on campus, in-house, using the ESPN protocols. So they did a good job of producing the signal, but they couldn't push it out. They didn't have the bandwidth to push it out, so it looked like ColecoVision or Tecmo Bowl or something.
showed, the highlights of the game, Coach Simmons looked like a ghost.
Was Allison up there? No. Okay, so he said Allison or Ryan wasn't up there. That means they got a local television station with the same affiliation to record it and send it to them. So that's what you get sometimes when that happens. And I just want to make one clarification before I sit down. And we keep saying it's illegal for boosters to do certain things. Even if you are not a member of the Rattler Boosters, like a dues-paying member, a person that gives any money, buys season tickets, is a member of the 220 Club, you are all considered, by definition, boosters. You are defined as a booster. I just want to clarify that.
Thank you. Thank you. And for all those, when he said 7:20, he wasn't talking about the time of day. Bandwidth. We got it going on at FAMU. Just know that. We're the model. Anyway, yes, ma'am. We scored 40 points in back-to-back weeks, so I'm about to see what this comment is now, because
I give you kudos, always for winning, always. However, one thing I want to tell you before I get to that part. On Facebook, I saw a lot of little negative comments coming from them people on the west side. Some little guys, they were saying, y'all weren't going to be able to win at Alabama A&M field and all this kind of stuff. Couldn't nobody win there. And then, so somebody came back, one of FAMU people came back and said, we got Alabama, we got Mississippi, we got Louisiana, we got Texas. So what's your daddy name? What's your daddy name, Willie? All right. Now, all jokes aside, I'm not being funny, but you want to go to Atlanta, right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. In order to get to Atlanta, you've got to make sure those guys have some good discipline. All the unnecessary penalties, 3 back-to-back penalties in the fourth quarter. Unnecessary. Unacceptable. I know it's football, and I know if somebody's trying to stop them from doing this and doing that, and just a little tap on the helmet, it's going to be called a face mask. I understand that. But some of them other things, unnecessary. Discipline, you've got to do it. And also, I see in the body movement, when the team is up, okay, first quarter, you got 17-0. But you got 17-0 in the first quarter. However, that's no time to celebrate. You still in the first quarter. You ain't got no feeling to celebrate. I see the body language start relaxing. You cannot relax. You got 4 quarters. You got to play all 4 quarters. I keep telling you that.
You telling me? You got to tell them. I hear it loud and clear. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Coming from online, Ms. Goodwin says, how do you prepare your players for a team that is winless? How do you prepare?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, obviously it's a huge challenge. Really every week, you get there on Sunday, we talk about 24-hour rule, we celebrate, the win before, and then we come back and we review the game, and we start the next week with the coming opponent. And so obviously, much like any other motivational speaker, pastor, whoever, you got to find ways to continue to motivate, to continue to push the guys to to be their best. They watch film just like every team that you're going to play watches film. They look at stats, they look at records, and they see all those things as well. So, you know, when your team that's riding high like we are, and you look at the schedule and you're playing a team that is winless, that again is a lower level opponent, you know, I'd be just kidding myself if I got here and said it's not a challenge to try to motivate the guys to go out and play, you know, the way that we should be playing. And so, you know, for me, I don't speak, and I tried to do this earlier in training camp, so it's not like I'm reinventing the wheel or creating a new message. I told them from the very start, you know, looking at our schedule, we were going to be the favorites in 10 of the 11 games we played this season, and we have been. South Florida, I forgot what the spread was, but we were. That's the only game that we weren't favored in. And I said, so we really have two choices. We can take that information and just kind of coast through and say because we're favored because they say we're more talented. And take that talent and go out there and just use that talent and see if we can win, which we probably will. Or we can truly be champions and truly chase greatness, right? And we say that the standard here at FAMU is excellence. University motto, our program motto, our standard is excellence. And we have a belief that the only way you can ever reach excellence is if you chase perfection. You have to chase perfection, and then somewhere along the way you'll hit excellence. And so that mindset has to be relentless in everything we do, not just in football, but in class and life. How we approach every day is how we will achieve that excellence. And so how we work this week, how we study film, how we go to treatment, how we lift weights, how we eat, how much rest we get, all of those things will determine whether we reach excellence. And that's been the message since day one. So when you take that mindset, it's not even about Lincoln. It really has nothing to do with Lincoln University. It has everything to do with us, right? And I think that's a life principle. The more we focus on us and what we do and how we go about our business, the more we'll be able to perform in whatever area that is that we need to perform in. For us, we all know it's going to be Saturday for the football game, but there are other areas that we'll need to perform throughout the week. Hopefully 100% of my guys are in class right now, right? Or will be today. So we got tests coming up, midterms, papers due, all kind of stuff. So are we chasing perfection in that? Are we trying to write the best paper that we can possibly write? Or are we just scribbling something on a piece of paper and turning it in just to say I got the assignment done? So are we going into the weight room with a purpose to get stronger, to get my body back fresh, to preserve? Am I eating with the purpose, putting the right type of things on my plate to make sure that I'm nourishing my body the way that I'm supposed to do? That's a winner's mindset. That's why Kobe Bryant is my favorite athlete of all time, because that's what he talked about while he was here, is that quote-unquote Mamba mentality that he got coined with. That's what it speaks about. It's a relentless pursuit of greatness in every single thing that you do. You don't ever accept the fact that you've arrived at a place. And I referenced there was a commercial that he did years back where, you know, he's in front of an auditorium and talking, and then Kanye West, you know, said, hey, you've achieved all this stuff. You know, you've done this, you've done that, you've done that. You know, what is there? And he said, Kobe just used one word, more. I want more. And it's just that mentality. I want more. No matter what I've achieved, it's not enough. I want more. And so I think it was perfect timing. One of our former players that we coached back some years past at another institution had a chance to speak to the team on Friday night. And he, you know, posted all of our achievements so far. Labor Day Classic, undefeated at home, nationally ranked, won the East, all these accolades. But then he put up another graphic of the stuff that we still have not achieved. Still aren't SWAC champs. Still aren't going to the Celebration Bowl just yet. Still haven't finished the season ranked in the top 5. Still have. There's a lot of things that we have to do. And so he showed a picture of a person on a horse. And I know some of us are farmers and probably know this analogy. So for a long time, the way you trained horses was very inhumane. you whipped them, you did all these other things to try to get the horse to break the horse. Well, eventually they found out that horses love carrots. They really love carrots. And so now you train a horse by putting a carrot in front of his face, right here in front of his face. And you get him to do certain, him or the horse to do something, and when they do it, they get the carrot. So he asked the team, what's our new carrot? We've eaten the past carrot. We've solidified the SWAC East. We ate that carrot. We're going to host the SWAC Championship. We ate that carrot. Now, what's the next carrot? SWAC Championship game is the next carrot. So we have to keep that we have to keep a new focus in front of us every single time. We can't rest on and he asked them the difference between someone who's full and someone who's hungry. He showed a picture, and I loved it. He showed a picture of a rattlesnake with a rabbit in his mouth, okay? And he said, okay, this rattlesnake is digesting this rabbit. After he digests this rabbit, it will be what? It'll be full. He said, now, somebody said sleep. Boss probably said sleep. He must eat rabbits. I don't know. Yeah, somebody actually said sleep. But when the rattlesnake digests that rabbit, it will be full. And he told him, at that point, you can line 5 more rabbits right in front of that rattlesnake, and it won't do a thing. It will not touch any more of those rabbits because it's full. So the question is, for this football team, are we full? Because if we're full, we're done. We'll just sit there and we'll just rest on our laurels and pat ourselves on the back and be told how great we are, and everybody will remember the really good football season that we've had. Or are we still hungry? And if you're hungry, you better not put anything in front of that rattlesnake, right? So that's the message for this football team. We have to stay hungry. The work is not done. And I told them a few weeks ago, we will rest on December 17th. At December 17th, blow it out, sleep in the next day, do whatever you want to do. But until then, stay hungry and work your butt off everything that we're going to do. And so I think that's the message for these guys. And with that being the case, I feel really good about this weekend. And we'll get ready to take care of business in our last home regular season game and get ready to head down to Orlando. Yes, sir. Last one.
Coach, I think I can speak for most everybody here. You and an HBCU coach team being as successful as you have been since you've been back here with FAMU, you get calls from outside. And we're just hoping that when you get those calls, after we win the celebration mode, and we get that $1 million, we'll talk to Dr. Robinson, Dr. Sykes about breaking you off. You can tell them, hold that thought, I'm not interested.
Well, not fool you. I'm not fool you. So, I'll say it now, just in case we have to address it. Again, for the last probably 3 years, maybe even 4, we've had this conversation in some capacity about coach and interest and all those things. In this landscape, yes, there's naturally going to be interest for coaches that are successful, not just me. There are a lot of really good coaches at this level, at other levels. And so with the business aspect of athletics, particularly college football, college basketball, those major revenue sports, they're always looking for that next hot thing, right? That thing that can infuse, excitement into their program to win and generate revenue. So, who knows at this point what calls may come? At this point, I can say with 100% certainty, I have not received any, right? There are 2 jobs that are open right now. They were open before the season started, Northwestern and Michigan State, because of, infractions by their head coaches. And so, who knows what will happen with those jobs, which trickles down to other jobs and other jobs. So, it's one of those things that if the opportunity presents itself, just like any opportunity in life, you listen and you make the decision that's best for you, your family, and all those involved, right? And so, what I will say, in years past, and this is just full transparency, in years past, when there's been interest, the leverage that I've tried to use has not been for me, all right? And I was very specific in this a couple of years back, that when a team was very interested in me, I didn't ask for Mr. Cobb just said 1 red cent. I didn't ask for a raise. I didn't get a raise. What I asked for was money for my coaches, for my assistant coaches, for resources for the players. Because for us to sustain success, you can pay Willie Simmons all the money that you can raise to get my salary competitive with other coaches at this level. You can do that. I'm not the highest paid coach. I'm not the highest paid coach in the conference. I think I'm 3rd or 4th, right? So you can get my salary to be the highest paid in the conference. But if my assistant coaches don't make more money, they're going to leave. If our players don't eventually get cost of attendance and those type of things, they'll leave, and we won't be able to replace them with other really good players. So at some point, guess what happens? The program starts to go down. All right, we cannot rest. We have to, as an alumni base, as boosters, as supporters, stay hungry. We have to stay hungry, and we have to want more, because as good as we're doing, it's not sustainable at this same level, because everybody is elevating. Everybody's trying to get better facilities. Everybody's trying to find a way to pay their players NIL money. Everybody's trying to get cost of attendance for their student athletes. Everybody's trying to get more tutors, more computers, more. Everybody that we're going against is trying to do these things, and many of them are doing it. And so if we as a program want to stay competitive and compete at the highest level, we have to be able to get the resources in order to do so. That's salaries, that's equipment, that's other resources, that's across the board. So the goal, and I know a lot of people talk about it, we got to find a way to pay coach. We got to find a way to pay FAMU athletics. Because if you pay FAMU athletics, guess what? They can pay coach. That's the way it works, right? And so it's not just about me. It's not just about the other championship coaches that we have, because Coach Simmons isn't the only productive coach at FAMU. We have 5 championships. All those coaches are some of the middle of the pack coaches in the salary in the conference as far as salaries. Some are on the lower half. So if we want to continue to have a great volleyball program, Coach Gokhan needs to be taken care of. We want to continue to have a great now track program. Coach Garber is going to need to be taken care of. So it's not just about, but again, it's not just about our salaries and our money. It's about the ability to continue to build and grow our programs, because I can't continue to win at the level that we're winning if we stay here and everybody else is going there. I think I'm a pretty good football coach, but I'm a much better coach. We got really good players. And we're going to send over 30 FAMU Rattlers out of this program on Saturday. We're going to honor those guys that will be transitioning on out of this program. So we have to do what? We got to replace them, right?
If I can just summarize what you just said, then we need to recruit more people to give up to this university, not just us giving. Because I know what we're doing. But we need to go out and reach some more people. And I think that we're doing a fantastic job. I just want to give a shout out to Tommy Mitchell, because he gave me a little thing the other week where he's raised something like $22,000 for non-athletic sports, which is what you're talking about.
Right, it's all of us. So
And Coach, I appreciate the fact that you are also looking out for not Willie Simmons, not for the football program, but you consistently talk about all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the coach I sure hope to.
well, I appreciate that. So I'll say this last thing, and I know we'll wrap up.
Please let me say this. We say we are concerned, but we're not concerned enough. Only 7% of alumni give. And we really want programs to advance. We got to get everybody to give.
To that Thomas point, yes. So the thing I've said at every Strike 2 event that I've attended for the last 3-4 years, we've gone to Jacksonville, Houston, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale. We've been all over, to talk to our faithful that support. The number one issue is that the faces don't change. The faces don't change. Because when we go to Jacksonville again this year, I can tell you who's going to be there, because it's the same ones that were there last year, and it's the same ones that were there the year before. When I come to the 220 Club on Wednesday, I can tell you who's going to be here. because it's the same group every week. And so that's where I think the biggest thing we have to change. Like Tommy said, if more of us aren't supporting and committed, it's probably not going to happen, right? Because it's very easy for me to go to Mr. Moore and say, Mr. Moore, we need X, Y, and Z. And because he loves FAMU and because he wants to be successful, he will squeeze every red cent that he has to make sure it happens. But how much can we continue to do that to that one individual or to you guys, right? It's not fair to you guys that you give more when other people don't, right? And so we're not asking everybody to be six-figure givers. But for some of us who aren't giving anything, we got to support, right? And if you do, great, we appreciate it. If you don't, hey, you do what you do. Just don't talk trash on social media if you're not giving money. It's that simple, right? Each of you, that's why I come here every day and I smile and I listen to, and I know it's all in love, but I welcome it every week because I know everybody in this room is supporting what we're doing financially. Everybody in here, right? You can't walk in the door if you're not. So you get to criticize me as much as you want to, and I welcome that every single week. But Joe Blow on the street, you don't get Willie Simmons' time. You just don't. You don't get to talk to me about the game. You don't get to talk to me about players or anything if you're not supporting this program. So that's where we, as not just Rattlers, but across the board at the HBCU space, have to do a much better job. Because when you look at the numbers of all of us, it's very similar to the percentage of us that are giving to not just athletics, but our institutions as a whole, right? And so we have a huge demographic of my age and younger who we're not tapping into. And so your kids, right, your friends' kids who graduated from FAM and that are in their early 30s and 40s and they're making really good money because FAMU was really good to them, encourage them to give. Encourage them to support. And start at the lowest level and see how good it feels to give at the lowest level. And then increase it to the next level. And then maybe the next level. And then the next level. But that's where I think we got to get to as a program. If we do that, that has to happen because, again, at the end of the day, no state institution will be supported by the administration. In this state, it cannot happen. So I cannot go to Dr. Robinson. I cannot go to anybody at the university and ask for anything for FAMU football because they cannot do it. We're in the situation we're in now with the Board of Governors because we did that for years. And now we're in debt to ourselves because the school bailed out athletics. That is illegal based on the state of Florida statutes with the Board of Governors. The university cannot support athletics. We're self-sustaining, which means you can't try to get in the game free on Saturday. Buy the ticket. We need that money. Them $15, $20, we need it, okay? Can't sneak in the game, right? So just little things like that is what we need to continue to get our program where it needs to be. We'll do our part. We appreciate you all, everybody watching, the ones that break their backs every day to try to support and give. We really, truly appreciate it. These guys appreciate it. But we do need more who make those necessary sacrifices. So we're going to end with a Bible verse. I love it. Rest, rule, abide in us. I love it. I love it. See y'all this weekend. Come to the game. Don't wait for Florida Classic. Love y'all. Go Rattlers.
Can I have your attention for just a moment, please? Just a moment. Coach, I was in your office the other day and you weren't there and the phone rang. It was the University of Michigan. I told them you weren't interested. I have to do a couple of shout outs to Moses Coley from Tampa, who wrote me some weeks ago and said, I will be sending you money each month. And Moses Coley from Tampa, he wrote me some weeks ago. He watches the program. He's watching today. And he said, because of what you guys are doing, he will be sending me $100 every month for the whole year. And I got another $200 from him today, so I just wanted to give that shout out to Moses Coley. All right. And Dr. Brian Lucas up at Clemson University, his $1,000 check arrived in the mail, and he said, be sure and let him know. This $1,000 check in there. I said, Brian, I can do that only if you promise to give another $1,000. But he hasn't given that yet. But anyway, Clayton Clark. Where's Clayton? Yes. Oh, yes. all they need to do all they need to do is send $20 each week to the organization. You come and pay for lunch. There are no regular commitments. All you have to do is show up if you're in Tallahassee. There are a number of people who send us money each month, and anything you send makes you a member. Anything. The address is, I want to get a booster's address. You have a post office box?
Yes, sir.
What's the post?
Post office box 5865, Tallahassee 32314.
Po-
Okay, you can send your contributions to the Rattler Boosters. Again, this is a 501c3 organization. That's the Post Office Box 5865, Tallahassee, Florida. Zip code 32314. It's on the screen. Thanks, Mon.
Oh, going up to the field house. But be sure and indicate when you send to the boosters, indicate it's for the 220 quarterback club. Yeah. Don't leave that out. Same time, same place next week. Oh, one more announcement. We set a record today for online watching. It's over 150 people are watching us online today. It's a new record. Harold has 2 Florida Classic tickets for sale. Anybody need Florida Classic tickets? Thank you, Harold. Come up to the nutrition bar at the field house.